Hi, everybody. Okay, we are headed into the solstice on Friday already. I cannot believe it. So, obviously, as we all know, or most of us know, the northern hemisphere moves into what is officially summer, and the southern hemisphere moves into what is officially winter. So, I know actually, obviously, we feel like we've already started those times, but when we think about it astrologically, cosmically, it is a powerful, energetic time marked by these regular yearly events. Now, a reason I mentioned the cycle is because what's happening now, from what I was shown, is this is a cycle that's needed every year to continue to. Okay, they just said refresh and renew. And I've got some notes from a meditation I just did, similar to what I did last time in one of my videos where information just came through. But refreshing and renewing is that cycle. But what we've got going on now in these times is, okay, they just said acceleration of these events, acceleration, because there's purpose in them. Remember, everything's energy, your energy, everything's energy, everything. So this is an energetic refreshment that we are offered. Now, it can look different, right? And the refreshment is all designed to be able to move us into a higher consciousness state, particularly in these times, which is why they're more powerful, coupled with the idea, or not the idea, the fact that the sun is reacting more and more strongly with all these coronal ejections and the auroras we're seeing in the magnetic field of the earth. So the point of this is I want to talk a little bit about the messages that I'm getting for the solstice on Friday, but I wanted to reference this yearly cycle where we can kind of just say, oh yeah, it's another solstice. Well, it's not. It's just not. All right. So in these times, in these ages, we are in an accelerating time. I think a lot of you have felt where, you can't really, well, a lot of can't remember if you did the thing the day before, or you still need to do it, or when it was, or how many days have passed, and the whole time thing. So we're doing a lot of collapsing, and what we want to talk about today is how important this cycle is, and what I'm noting from the information that I just received, because I just got out of meditation, from them on this particular solstice and how it fits into the trajectory that we're on. So I'm going to finish with a solstice poem, which is really cool, by the way, I think. Hopefully you'll enjoy it too. Now remember, and I've told you this before, and I'm reading more of the poems now. I should just share them more often. I do share, by the way, on my Facebook page under Purple Rain Healing. And I also share on my the channeled poems on my weekly email list, which down below in the description box you can get connected with, or on my website. Anyway, and my website's purplerainhealing.com, where of course you can see all my services and also get hooked up with more of that free content. So today what we're going to do is we're going to talk a little bit about this particular solstice within the larger framework of what this journey is all about, and I'm going to leave you with that poem. So, first of all, what we are experiencing now is a continued move forward in our collective ascension journey. And our cosmic events, as I have mentioned before, are fully in alignment with this journey. We're not out here on Earth as humans going through this just for ourselves. This is a full-on cosmic event that affects others as well. And as I had mentioned before, there's this relationship between what's happening with the sun and the earth, and they are working together, okay, for this greater union. I just heard, for this greater union. So I'm going to share with you what came through and maybe elaborate on some of these pieces and leave you with the poem. So anyway, thank you, by the way, for joining me today too. So just quickly, for those of you who aren't familiar with me, I'm Carolyn Zaiser. I channel, I offer energy healing, and I also offer spiritual awakening mentoring, really where what we do is we help you understand your larger soul journey, past, present, and future potentials, and the past includes past lives. We journey through that, continuing to put pieces of the story together, connecting your current journey in the incarnation of you and the experiences that you've had to an understanding in the spiritual perspective, and then helping you forward in the spiritual awakening journey and helping you understand further the process of this, particularly for people, well, I don't say particularly for people, but for people that are newer to this, it can be very confusing and disturbing. And yet, as we know, it's full of unfolding beauty at the same time. So there's a lot of healing work, a lot of revelations, a lot of intuitive, I'll just say, openings up for ourselves. So with that, what we do, I work with my team and I channel for you, and I also work with you in general, helping assist you in your journey forward, but understanding it from a much higher perspective. So that said, I'll leave you with my website, as I mentioned earlier, purplerainhealing.com, if you'd like to check that out. So thank you so much for joining me today. Okay, let's cover the brief pieces that they brought to me. So they said to me, and we're talking about the sun, right? We're talking about the solstice, this incredible event that has been revered for eons, right? They said that the power of the collective is as if it was 10,000 suns. Now think about this. Remember, the awakening journey is a grassroots effort. I think some of you have heard that before. If you didn't hear it from me in the very beginning when I started channeling, you've probably heard it from somebody else, hopefully. But what it's been pounded into me is that from the very first time I started channeling, was that no, this is a grassroots effort. The common human, grassroots effort. This is not a thing that's going to be coming down from above in our human leadership, right? It's just not. That's not how this works. This is not a top-down thing. It's a bottom-up grassroots effort, okay? And the awakening starts there. And they've always said we're like in hiding. We're like, and this sounds kind of gross, but I think it's a good reference. They said, how like for 7 years, is it the cicadas or something, or will burrow underground, and then all of a sudden they arrive and they make an impact. And that's what we're here to do. Not to be cicadas, but anyway, they've always given me those. I don't know why. But anyway, that's one of the reference points. But needless to say, being able to create ourselves, we are awakening at this grassroots level, which is a collective situation, right? The collective is rising. Now, might not look like it, right? We look like we're just two kind of duality, right? Two separate groups of people. And we're going to talk about a little bit about that. But as we've talked before, this has to happen. This is that great split. Okay, so what they also said, so they talked about we have the power of the collective. Or the power of the collective is that of 10,000 suns. Okay, so keep that in the back of your mind. They said that the solstice, and again, we're talking about this one in particular, is about collapsing, opening, collapsing timelines, and just collapsing in general, belief systems, structures, all that. Opening, new creativity, new ways of thinking, and then transitioning. Okay? So we're transitioning into that new way. But how we get there is dependent on our own choices and journey. Okay? So they said the solstice coming up is about collapsing, opening, and transitioning. So there's all that energy within that to allow for this in one way or another. And they also talked about a lot of tension. Now, I don't know about you, but just tension in general with ourselves individually. I woke up this morning and I wasn't feeling it. I was a little grouchy, and I could tell I was being agitated. It wasn't just me and something happening in my life. I was agitated. It was as though, I don't know how to explain it. I think you guys understand that, where you just wake up one day and you're like, what is going on? That's how I felt today. But it's a tension. It's a tension that's in the air. And we know outside events can show us that, but we're talking energetic tension in the air, okay? And I'm hearing, with that tension, ride the wave. Ride the wave and recognize the split. Recognize the split. And that in and of itself is the split that we've been talking about for a very, very long time. All right, this, how I've shown the cells, and I'm not going to go into it again, the cells dividing, how a cell divides, right? There's that little bridge in between. Well, we're being stretched very, very, very thin, okay? So recognizing the split, all right, and that the solstice again is continuing to help us collapse, open, and transition. Now, what they said to me when they said recognize the split, they then went into the tear in the fabric. And I saw this, and remember, recognize the split, what I just said with the split. They said the tear in the fabric. And it's like the tear in the fabric of reality as well, right? And they said new garments, new garments. Okay, so remember, they use lots of metaphors and analogies. And they showed that, oh God, I just got chills. We will be wearing new garments. We will be wearing new garments. Okay, now think about that metaphorically, okay? And they said design of the times. It will be a design of the times. So, I love how they use a metaphor of like fashion, right? Like, but recognizing, or I should say like fabric, right? Or how we dress. The tear in the fabric. There's a tear in the fabric of our reality, of what is known, what is to be. But the tear in the fabric is important, and we will be wearing new garments. Now, I usually always speak to those who are awakening and those who are feeling a shift and change in their journey. They may not understand their awakening or drawn to my videos. Those who are consider themselves light workers are in that space, right? And again, that's outside the construct of our human belief system. I know that sounds weird, but it is. It's outside of that. We're from all walks of life. Light workers are all walks, all belief systems, all that. And everybody's dealing with their own truth. Like, what's real for me? What do I believe out there that's sitting there screaming in my face? Or what do I shed? So again, we're from all walks of life, regardless of our belief systems, okay? I will tell you that now because a lot of people can't believe that. It's true. All right? And that's our commonality. That's our commonality. So, when we get to the tear in the fabric, we are now wearing new garments, but that's everyone. And this is the design of the times. So when we think about the split, all right, and that's frequency, and remember, everything's energy, that's frequency and vibration, you will be wearing different garments, okay, depending on what your choices are, where you choose to go with all this. So they said here, and I thought this was really interesting, because a lot of what we talk about is how can we affect our journey, but we also know there are outside impacts to this journey to higher consciousness, right? So I just heard in this meditation with the solstice, now remember, the energies during this time, the effect comes not just in one day, it comes after, right? They said we're going to be forced into frequency. We're going to be forced into higher consciousness through energy, okay, through the sun, through the vibration of our cells. We are being elevated. So we're being forced into frequency. Again, not by humans, not by man, by the energies, okay? By the sun, by the solstice, by these things. And then I heard them say, and I just think it's fascinating, we're being agitated into being. We're being agitated into being. Now, as we be, we are here in the now, creating from the now, whether we're working on our healing, we're creating our new way forward, we're shedding the things that don't serve us, but we are being agitated by the cosmos into being, okay? They showed me a picture, too, as I was meditating. So they showed the sun with its all of the things that are going on with it now, right? And it's shooting out to us into Earth. But then they showed, and this is why at least partially why we're on such a wild ride. We're being agitated into being. We are being forced into higher frequency and higher consciousness. But it looks like a heartbeat chart, not a regular one though. So the sun doing its thing, like a heartbeat, but it's very erratic and you don't know one day up, one day down. And what that is, that's not the sun doing its thing that we read on or the earth doing its thing, the Schumann resonance. That's us. That's us. what we see out there and then be able to come into stasis down the road, this is what we're noticing now. And we're going to see it for some time. An irregular heartbeat, okay? It's like it's like what the sun is doing, they just brought this to me, is giving us paddles on our heart, like trying to save us. Yes, but at the same time, what it's doing is it's making things erratic at this point energetically. But it's, again, they just said to allow for stasis down the road. So these times that we are in, again, I go back to, well, okay, I always believe we should in some way recognize the solstice. I mean, I've told you before, I'm not a big ceremony person, ritual person, but I have my own way of like going out on my deck, like during the solstice, and I'll just kind of do a little recognition of that. I'll do a meditation, whatever it is. But, really being able to witness consciously in whatever way you do these cosmic alignments, events. And the reason I say that is because we have been outside of that for so long. And we're needing to come back home. We're needing to come back home. And with that, we will have a greater clarity and understanding of why these things are occurring, how we can work with them as we move forward in this journey. So I think I'm going to leave you with that for the messaging that they brought through. That does, I think, include all of my notes. It does, yes. And I'm going to read you gosh, I love it. I hope you love it. This beautiful poetic message. Okay, and this is all about the solstice, all right? Where you find yourself today will not be where you are tomorrow, for change is coming soon to all of humankind, the great solstice, and so it will not be denied of the shift and change that has come for brighter times ahead. You understand more than you know, so open up to your divine heart and soul, dig deep and go inside, for this is where all the answers lie in time. You know the way forward of humankind to brighter days, and yet you also see the reason for the pathway you must all tread too. For constructs are broken down, and grassroots efforts are what build the new in your day. As the walls come tumbling down of old energy that has overstayed, others will be working in their way to quickly create a new world in time. Understand how this may look to the common human eye, but it is a mystery and magic that will further unwind what no longer serves humankind. Stay strong and take in this energy in your day, for you are here to build and to birth the new ways through you, the awakened ones, we say. So with that, I wish you happy solstice coming up here this Friday on the 20th. And again, I wish you well, and thank you so much for joining me today for this solstice message. I'll see you in the next video.